Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Connor and welcome back to another Black Ops Cold War video. Make sure to drop a like down below and subscribe for more if you do enjoy today's video. Today I'm going to provide you guys with 5 more tips and tricks to become better at Black Ops Cold War as a continuation of this 2-part miniseries. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Tip number 1, practice your sliding technique. Ever since the induction of the mechanic a few years ago, sliding has been a viable method used to glide across the map and avoid as much enemy fire as possible. And although Treyarch were criticized heavily for their ridiculous implementation of the mechanic during the alpha and beta tests of the game, sliding is still pretty insane. It might not feel like you're skating anymore, but with a sound technique, you'll be close to unstoppable. To make sure you get the most out of this mechanic, keep in mind that your opponents will be aware of the trajectory of your movement. A great way to take them off guard is practice your slide canceling technique, which you do by pressing the slide button before the slide animation has finished completely. By doing so, you'll be able to slide again far sooner than otherwise. You'll also be able to aim down the sights much faster, allowing for a quicker kill. Since split seconds matter in Call of Duty, this is a great way to save yourself some time and come out on top. Tip number 2, make sure you're always on the move. As you probably realize by now, being able to shoot well is just one piece of the Cold War puzzle. And while moving around might take it far more difficult for you to hit your enemies, standing still is a surefire way to end up with a bullet in your head. So if you're a beginner to the franchise or prefer to keep your playing style as simple as possible, go ahead and ignore advanced maneuvers like jump shotting and slide canceling. Something that you can do that ups the ante but takes little effort is to strafe left and right while aiming down sight. This way you make yourself as difficult to hit as possible while still being able to aim as usual. Movement is not only advised when engaging in a gunfight though, with some perks like Ghost outright requiring at least some movement to be effectual. You'll also find that camping is not a respected strategy in the Call of Duty community and actually makes you susceptible to ambushes and other forms of surprise, so no matter how you look at it, staying on your toes is always the best strategy, so spend as little time stationary as you can. Tip number 3, stop reloading so soon. In a fast-paced game like Call of Duty, you should almost expect an enemy or two to be behind every corner. Since we all need to reload though, and camping behind a box is frowned upon, how do we avoid these scenarios? Well, you can start by checking yourself every time you reload unnecessarily, which you'll notice happens far more often than you might think. When your aim is on point, you won't need a full clip to end a life. So get out of the habit of reloading each time you fired a few shots. And if you're really battling to kick the habit, go ahead and add an extended clip as an attachment, as this will give you more room to work on your ammo hogging tendencies. Tip number 4, try your hand at pre-firing. Now I know this sounds like something only the professional Call of Duty players do, but it's actually a lot easier than it looks and has far more to do with feel than anything else. After playing for a respectable amount of time and experiencing the ins and outs of the various multiplayer maps, you'll find yourself learning where the different choke points of each map are. With this knowledge in mind, you'll be able to guess where players are most likely to be, especially at the very start of the game. Before making yourself known at the selected choke point, start out slowly by pre-aiming and strafing into sight. Since you've saved yourself some time, your enemies will be on the back foot and likely lose to you if you end up hitting your shots. When comfortable with pre-aiming, take the next step and start firing before you strafe in the sight. Although this strategy can result in you wasting precious ammo, the positives outweigh the negatives. There's a reason the pros do it. And for tip number 5, learn to cover rush. As I said earlier, Cold War is not as forgiving as the other installments of the Call of Duty franchise when it comes to rushing. Don't get me wrong though, rushing definitely still has its place in the game, but you'll have to adjust to more of a cover rush strategy in order to succeed. In other words, rather than rushing ahead into the open, survey the battlefield. Make sure you have a viable exit plan and some places to take cover if surprised by the enemy. By doing so, you'll guarantee that you'll at least be on the same footing as the aggressor if an ambush takes place. And while on the topic of taking cover, keep in mind that it's far more preferable to make use of a head glitch than to peek either left or right, as this will expose a large portion of your body to the enemy. so stick to cover and use it to your enemy's detriment. Well guys, that has been my top 10 tips and tricks in getting better at Black Ops Cold War throughout this 2-part mini-series. If you did enjoy today's video and want to see more Black Ops Cold War content, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more. If you have any recommendations on anything you'd like to see from me, then make sure to drop a comment. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.